Today we are going to start the DNA fingerprinting. What is the meaning of DNA fingerprinting? DNA fingerprinting means identification of individual, identification of person on the basis of DNA is called as the DNA fingerprinting. So, identification of person or the individual on the basis of DNA. We can identify person with the help of name, with the help of surname, with the help of his father's name, but here the person is identified or the individual is identified with the help of DNA is called as the DNA fingerprinting. How it is possible in case of that DNA fingerprinting? Look at here. You know that all organisms are made up of the cell and the cell contain the nucleus. Nucleus contain the DNA. So with the help of the DNA we can identify the person. Generally, in all animals or all human beings, not in all animal, in all human beings, the DNA near about 99.0.9% DNAs are the same. DNAs are same. But there is a difference at the level here. Some base pairs are the different. The base pairs are different. And these base pairs, the different base pairs are called as the VNTRS. Variable number tandem repeats. Variable number tandem repeats. That is, the base pairs are different in all generations. And how can we identify here the person? Because these VNTRAs, they having a capacity to inherit into a next generation. So the base pairs, they are variable in number, that is near about 20 to 100 base pairs, they are the variable in number. That's why it is called the variable. Number tandem repeats, tandemly they are repeated into next generation. And with the help of that we can identify the person on the basis of that DNA level. Here, how it is possible that VNTRS or the identification of that person with the help of that VNTRS, variable number tandem repeats. Variable, that is the number of that base pair, it is a variable number. Tandemly it repeats into the next generation. That's why it is called as the variable number tandem repeats. Okay. Then suppose, look at here. Suppose the person A, or this is the child. This child, it is an orphan child. This child is an orphan child. And we have to identify his parents. This child is an orphan child and we have to identify his parents. Suppose this is the A person is here and he is saying that yes, I am the parent of this child. As well as the B person is here and this person also saying that I am the parent of this child. C person is here and he is also saying that I am the parent of this child. As well as the D person is here and this D person is also saying that I am the parent of this child. So how can we identify the parent of this child? Here there are the 4 persons and they are saying that I am the parent of this child. But which one is the actual parent? How can we identify? We cannot identify with the help of the name because it is an orphan child. We cannot identify with the help of that surname because of it is a orphan child. Then how can we identify? So with the help of the DNA fingerprinting we can identify. What happens in that DNA fingerprinting? The first step is here, the cell from that orphan child, it is isolated. Cell from that orphan child, it is isolated, and the DNA present in that cell, it is also isolated. All the genes present in that cell, all the sets of chromosome or the genome, it is isolated from that child. As well as at the same time, the genome from that, all the persons who are saying that I am the parent of that child, these DNAs are isolated from the person. A person from the B person, from the C person, and from the D person. Then, here with the help of restricted endonuclease enzyme, the DNA is cut. DNA is cut with the help of restricted endonuclease enzyme. We have seen in that replication of DNA, which one is the genetic scissor or which one is the genetic scalpel? Endonuclease enzyme, restricted endonuclease enzyme. Restricted endonuclease enzyme, it cut the DNA, that's why it is called the genetic scalpel. With the help of the genetic scalpel or the genetic scissor, the DNA is cut. Here all the DNA from that persons they get cut and produce the fragments. And we produce the fragments. That is the RFLP, restricted fragment lengthwise polymorphism. RFLPs are produced, that is the fragments are produced with the help of endonuclease enzyme. Then such DNA, there is number of the fragments are produced. Number of fragments are produced with the help of that endonuclease enzyme from that person. Now, the DNAs are so small, we cannot see with our naked eyes. It requires the microscope, and such fragments, the fragments has to be arranged. So, with the help of electrophoresis method, the fragments are arranged in a lengthwise manner. For that purpose, the agarose gel is taken. With gel, agarose gel is taken in a tray, and the electric current and the fragments are kept in that agarose gel. Then the electric current is given to that tray or to that material. Due to the electric current, because the DNA is a negatively charged. You know that the DNA is having a negative charge, and electric current is given. Due to that electric current, the DNA, the negatively charged DNA, it attracts toward the positive charge, and the DNA are arranged in a lengthwise manner. DNAs are arranged in a lengthwise manner. It is impossible to arrange the lengthwise manner. So small DNA, we cannot arrange in a lengthwise manner. But with the help of that electrophoresis technique, we can arrange the DNA in a lengthwise manner with the help of that agarose gel. So it takes place in all 4 persons as well as for that child. So the electrophoresis means the electric current is given to that DNA to arrange in a lengthwise manner. After that, here the DNAs, they are arranged in a lengthwise manner, but they are present in a agarose gel. So we have to pick up it. The DNAs which are arranged in the lengthwise manner, we have to pick up from that agarose gel. For that purpose, Southern blotting technique is taken. Southern blotting technique is taken. In that Southern blotting technique, what happens? Here, on that tray, the buffer is used, buffer solution is used, and the nitrocellulose paper is used to pick up that DNA. nitrocellulose paper is used to pick up that DNA. So in the Southern blotting technique, the buffer, with the help of the buffer solution and nitrocellulose paper, we can pick up the lengthwise or the DNA which are arranged in a lengthwise manner. They can be picked up with the help of that nitrocellulose paper. So on all these DNAs from that 4 person, on nitrocellulose paper, the DNAs are picked up with the help of Southern blotting technique. That is, the DNAs are blotted. Here the DNAs are picked up. Then after that, here on the nitrocellulose paper, this is the nitrocellulose paper. On that nitrocellulose paper, the lengthwise arranged DNAs are present. Here the probes are prepared. After that, the probes are prepared from that child. What is the meaning of probes? Probes means the single-stranded DNA. Radioactive single-stranded DNA is called the probes. Why it has to become a radioactive? For the easily identification, it gets radioactivated. And this radioactivated single-stranded DNA is called the probes. So from that, or the DNA of that child, from the DNA of the child, the probes are produced. Then these probes, they are bombarded on each nitrocellulose paper of that 4 person. Here the DNAs are bombarded, DNAs are emitted, or the probes are emitted. Here the probes are emitted on that nitrocellulose paper, on which the different DNAs or the lengthwise DNAs are picked up on that nitrocellulose paper. So here the probes, whenever the probes are emitted on that nitrocellulose paper which having the DNA of a different persons, which are saying that I am the parent of that child, then what happens? If the probes, it is a single-stranded, probes are the single-stranded, and the DNA, the single-stranded DNA has a great affinity to become a double strand. The DNA, single-stranded DNA, has a great affinity to become a double strand. As soon as this single-stranded DNA, it reaches toward the single-stranded DNA, and if it matches, then it binds to that DNA and it becomes a double-stranded. But whenever it does not matches to that DNA, then it washes out from that cellulose paper. It washes out from that DNA. If it matches to that, then it becomes a double-stranded. But if it doesn't matches to that DNA on which these probes are bombarded or on which the probes are emitted, then it washes out. Suppose this is the A person, this is the DNA of that probe, DNA or the single-stranded DNA of the A person, and if we emit the probes on that paper and it does not matches to that, then it gets washed out. If again we can image the probes on that nitrocellulose paper, it does not matches, then it gets washed out. Then it gets washed out. Again these probes of that child, it emits from the nitrocellulose paper, and if it does not matches to that DNA, then it gets washed out or wash out. But if when we emit the probes on that DNA and it matches to that DNA of the person D, then it becomes a double stranded. And it indicates that the D person is the parent of that orphan child. As like this, we can identify the parent of that orphan child. That is, we can identify the person, we can identify the individual on the basis of that DNA. On the basis of DNA. And this is called as the DNA fingerprinting. And then the photography is taken. The photography is taken with the help of X-ray machine. With the help of X-ray machine. And this is called as the hybridization. When we take the photography, it does not match. That means here the DNAs are single stranded and we can see or we can observe in that photography. Here the DNAs are single stranded, we can observe in a photography. DNAs are single stranded, or the probes are washed out from that DNA, we can observe here in a photography. But in that photography, here the DNA shows the double stranded DNA. That is the VNTRase, it binds or it matches to that DNA or VNTRase, it matches to that person. That's why the person D is the parent of this child, orphan child. As like this, we can identify the parent of the orphan child as well as we can identify the parents of the child. As well as we can also identify the as well as this technique, it is used in a crime cases. It is also used in a crime cases. So identification of the person at the level of DNA is called the DNA fingerprinting. So which are the different steps used in here? The first is the isolation of the DNA. Then the second one is the RFLP. To produce the RFLP, restricted lengthwise polymorphism with the help of the enzyme, endonuclease enzyme. Then here the electrophoresis takes place. The electrophoresis process takes place for the arrangement of the DNA at the lengthwise manner. This is called the electrophoresis. After that, Southern blotting process takes place, or Southern blotting process is done because here during that Southern blotting technique, the nitrocellulose paper and the buffer solution is used. On a nitrocellulose paper, the DNA fragments, they get picked up. The DNA fragments are picked up on a nitrocellulose paper. Then the probes are used. What is the meaning of the probes? The radioactivated single-stranded DNA is called the probes. Why it becomes why it gets radioactivated? For the easily identification of here it get activated. Why the probes are single-stranded? Because to identify the another person, here the probes are single-stranded because the single-stranded DNA has a great affinity to become a double-stranded. As soon as it matches, it becomes a double-stranded. So whenever it goes near to that the single-stranded, which having a complementary DNA or which having a complementary nitrogen bases, then it matches and we can easily identify the another DNA or the DNA of the another person. Then the hybridization technique. In the hybridization technique, here the photography is taken with the help of X-ray machine. So with the help of that X-ray machine, we can identify the person's DNA or the probes to whom it matches. The person or the probes to whom's DNA it matches to that person. Okay. So these are the different steps. First is the isolation of the DNA from the different individual or the suspected individual as well as the orphan child, from the as well as the RFLP, that is the fragmentation takes place with the help of the endonuclease enzyme. Then the electrophoresis, that is electric current is given to that agar gel. The DNAs, the fragment of DNA, they are kept in the agar gels. Then the Southern blotting technique. In Southern blotting technique, the nitrocellulose paper and the buffer solution is used. The probes are produced and then photography is taken with the help of the X-ray machines. So these are the simple methods, simple steps for the DNA fingerprinting. What is the principle of the DNA fingerprinting? VNTRase is the principle of DNA fingerprinting. When the question is asked like that is the principle of the DNA fingerprinting. you have to write that VNTRS. VNTRS means variable number tandem repeats. Variable number tandem repeats. That is, the number is the variable. It is near about 20 to 100 base pairs are present in the VNTRS, and it is tandemly repeat in the next generation. That is, these base pairs they are observed in the next generation, as well as they are observed in the another generation, third generation, and that's why it is called as the VNTRS. With the help of that VNTRS, we can identify the individual, we can identify the persons. Okay, so this is the principle of the DNA fingerprinting. Where it is applied? The DNA fingerprinting, it is applied in case of to identify the orphan child, we have seen it, as well as it is also used in the identification of the individual in a crime cases, in a rape cases. We can identify the persons with the help of that DNA fingerprinting. As well as this DNA fingerprinting or the DNA, it is not that only individual, but also here the DNA it can be identified which produces a specific type of the protein. Such DNA it is identified with the help of that DNA fingerprinting, and such protein or the DNA which is able to produce the protein, such kind of the protein or such kind of the antibodies, such DNAs are taken from that cell, and then it multiplies in case of the PCRA technique. We will see the PCRA technique in another topic. So for the synthesis of vaccination, for the synthesis of antibodies, here this DNA fingerprinting it can be applied. So these are the applications for the DNA fingerprinting to identify the orphan child, in a crime cases, as well as for the vaccination, as well as for the synthesis of antibodies. We can use here the DNA fingerprinting.